history. Let me get my face in the right place here. So I've designed a brand new DBQ series, and this is really going to help us kind of tackle that AP essay, DBQ, especially during this time of quarantine, right? And so I'm going to help you kind of learn the process and master it, right? Which can be difficult without your teacher here by your side. And so this is a great way also to learn on your own or brush up after our quarantine is lifted. So the first thing we need to do is deconstruct the prompt. So often my students struggle with, I don't know what the prompt is asking me to do. It has this strange language. And so here's our prompt. Evaluate the extent to which trade led to increased economic developments during the period 1200 to 1450. All right, so what does this mean? So, college boards to lead with evaluate the extent to which, and this can kind of throw us off because we're like, oh, we don't talk like this. I don't know what that means, right? And so evaluate the extent to which, it really just means how much. And so all of your essay prompts are going to start off with this. So just think how much. Okay, so if we plug that in, how much trade led to increased economic developments during the period 1200 to 1450? Okay, again, that's not exactly the best wording, so let's keep going. Okay, so that. All right, so if we're looking at how much, we know it's about trade and we know it's about the economic, right? And if you look at your, so this is going to tip us off as to what kind of essay we're writing. So college typically has 3 types of essays. These hold true for your LEQ essay, the one without the documents, but the DBQ can deviate, but this process is generally works for the DBQ as well. You have a compare and contrast. And so you generally know this because the prompt have the words similarities or differences in it. So the prompt might be evaluate to what extent 2 of the following empires were similar. And so right there, right? Changing continuity over time is the next type of prompt. And so this usually will have keywords or continuities in it. So an example might be evaluate the extent women's rights changed from 1200 to 1750. And so that kind of keyword change, right? And you can discuss changes and continuities. And remember, a continuity is something that stays just the same. Think of continue, right? That essay, there might not be a lot of changes. You might be writing more about continuities, and that's okay. The board has set the essays up like that. Okay, and then there's cause and effect. So if it's asking for causes, right, some synonyms might be reasons or factors. If it's asking for effects, it might say consequences or results instead of effects. And so this prompt with the led to, I think, is really asking us for this. Okay, so let's put this all together. Okay, so now we need to really rewrite this in our own words, and I don't really like the wording. So if how much trade affected economic developments during the period 2014. Okay, so how can I say this in my own words where I'm capturing the meaning of what this prompt wants me to do? Well, I'm asking, how much were the effects of trade economic? Right? So we've got our how much, effect economic. How much were the effects of trade economic? Were they, maybe they were fully economic. Maybe you're going to have some documents that are going to show some political, cultural, or social effects of trade. And so the documents are going to lead you as to how to answer this. But first step is understand it. So practice this process with me a few times. Trust yourself. You know what these words mean, right? And put it in your own words, and you're going to do great on these essays. Okay, so coming up next with the same prompt, we're going to do contextualization, and then we're going to dive into the documents, and we're going to look at them, annotate them, and summarize them. And this is going to help us get those evidence points on the DBQs. So I hope to see you soon.